What's good, yeah. So, a lot of you asked for it. Here you go. We are going to talk about three different teams with proper Valeriya timings, as well as for the last team, the gear requirements you do need to fulfill this one. And on the note of gear requirements, let's talk a bit about Valeriya. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. You want around 150% attack to 200% attack, then getting closer to around 250 attack speed, then obviously as much crit damage as you can fit into it. And also, skill wise, the ultimate needs to be maxed out. Without a maxed ultimate, the timings are not going to work, and you can honestly really forget about using Valeriya and Guild Boss. So, Blood Infusion needs to be maxed out for the juicy initial rage as well as the reduced skill cost. So keep that in mind. Maxed out ultimate is very, very, very important. Artifact wise, you really have three choices. Choice number one, Realm Tier, if we're running Valeriya in the second row, which we're going to do in both teams, in all three teams really. The Wailing Skull is only an option if Valeriya has a side to her free. So if you're running her in the second row and have a fighter on top of her, a fighter below her, and then a ranged unit next to her, she's not going to be able to summon the Wailing Skull. So keep that in mind. You can't box her in with fighters when you want to use the Wailing Skull, but if she's freestanding, Wailing Skull is a very, very nice choice, probably even going to give you more damage than a Realm Tier would. And then lastly, if you have it, Serpent's Kiss, starting from 19 also becomes a real and viable option, but who actually has a Serpent's Kiss like that? So yeah, those were all the choices you could pick. And obviously also Scarlet Hunt if you're running a Salazar, preferably at A1 or even honestly really A3, or then another bleed unit in the team. So now that we've talked about Valeriya's requirements, let's talk about the other units. It's going to be an Elowyn team that I'm going to show you, and for that you need this skill maxed. This Elowyn, that's the only real thing you need, and that is this skill maxed out, because you're going to get 5 times as much rage regen, going from 0.2% per second all the way to 1% per second, which is really, really crucial. The rest of the gear isn't as important. And then lastly, we need to talk about another rage regen unit, just so we can, just so we're all on the same page when it comes to building. It's also again going to be a holo team, kind of like the meta Volka Laurel team. And here we go. As you can see, we have around 100% attack, could even be lower. Very high attack speed, preferably something close to plus 300 or higher. As you can see, we have 424. The healing effect isn't as important, could be anything from 50 to 100, but you want at least a bit of something. And as you can see, a massive amount of rage regen. But that's just to like min-max her timings, but she's really not that crucial to be in 145% rage regen. And on the artifact we have some more rage regen increased by 50% through Golden Scarab, but it's not that important. What you really need to keep in mind is you can have low attack, you want high attack speed, you want around 50 healing effect, and then as much rage regen as you can manage. Especially what you really want to do is use a rage regen main stat on the ring, as well as an attack speed main stat on the amulet, which concludes Holo, and the rest of the team really depends on your gear. So now that we've talked about all that, there's one more thing we need to check off, and that's the Pantheon. For the stat requirements I'm going to give you for the last fight, just keep in mind it is a 20% HP bonus, as well as also a 28% rage regen, as well as 25 attack speed. Those aren't going to be crucial, but especially the HP bonus is really important to keep in mind when it comes to you gearing your Valeriya, as well as obviously rage regen maybe shifting the timings a bit. But now that we've talked about all the like pre-requirements, let's actually get into the fight. And we're actually going to start with the simplest, the easiest way, and also the most lazy way to make use of Valeriya, which is going to be when I find it. Slapping in Holo, slapping in Laurel, as well as the finishing piece. Where are you? There's a lot of fucking heroes. Volka. So the first team is going to be complete meta 4 fighter Wrath Lord bonus. And then the bottom row could be whatever you have. So whatever kind of ranged units you have, because you don't really want to go above 3 fighters, which is in this case Volka, Arrogance and Valeriya. Arrogance also is changeable. So the core of the fight is going to be a Volka, Valeriya, Hollow, Laurel, as well as the Dolores. So those 5 units, and obviously Wrath for the Lord bonus, really. So that's going to be the core of the team, and the rest is whatever you have on your account, really. And this team is super, super simple. Because it's that simple, we're actually going to watch a replay that is at, I think it was 4 times the speed, as well as 2 times the speed through through auto run. So yeah, let's just have a look at it, and let me move my let me move myself over. All right, here we go. So timing wise, I'm going to put the full timings on the left right here, but it's pretty simply explained. Even though it happened really fast, you can see that we waited for 4 minutes and 29 seconds. As soon as 4 minutes 29 seconds passed, that's when I clicked her ultimate. Even though it's not active yet, it is already triggered, and as you can kind of tell, she's already charging up her animation. So that's the first key point, and the rest is really, really simple. Wait for at this point, you really you just wait for Valeriya's ultimate to be active and Dolores's. As soon as Dolores's ulti is active, you take out Laurel, and then activate Valeriya as soon as she's ready. As you can see, we activated her twice already. Now comes the 3rd time. The unit that gets put in is just Laurel. So it's just going to be again Laurel in, Laurel out, Laurel in, Laurel out, Laurel in, Laurel out, and insta ultimates on Valeriya. So you're just going to cycle through Laurel, cycle through Hollow, cycle through all your units, and you're just going to insta ult. She's not going to die. It is perfect timing, and honestly the easiest way to do this. Now we come to the part where you actually need to pay attention, and that is going to be right here. The dragon is going to do his shriek, cutting your Valeriya's HP down to around 30%. And what you want to do in this situation is wait for your Hollow to heal Valeriya to full life. As soon as Valeriya hits full life, before meteorite impact, that is when you activate her final ultimate. So as you can see, we activate her final ultimate, and then we can just skip forward a bit. She's still alive, the timer for the fight is running out, and that is how you time Valeriya very, very simply, and honestly pretty lazy, I guess, but obviously for accounts that don't want to min-max, or especially for early accounts, this is most likely the easiest way and the one that's going to yield the most results. So yeah, this concludes the first one. Now onto the second fight. Alrighty, now onto the bit more complicated one, which is going to be a very simple change. Taking out Volka and replacing her with another fighter, which honestly, I think, yeah, it really needs to be a fighter. It can't be another ranged unit. Or can it? Now, honestly, it doesn't really matter, but you do want the 4 nightmare bonus. So you could technically put in a Hudson, I guess, but enough of that. So for this team, stat wise, when we look at this Valeriya, the stats are whatever you have. The stats aren't important. The HP isn't important. The crit damage isn't really important. The attack speed doesn't really affect anything. So it is pretty much, you put her in an Sorbonne Arcana set and you go in. And yeah, here we go. So let's play this manually, because it's, I guess, a bit more difficult. Obviously I'm going to like put the whole so you can screenshot it. I'm going to put the timing on the top left right there, but for the moment let's just play the fight properly. So we're just going to bring in our basic units, give everyone an invigoration buff, which is what I'm doing with Laurel and Lunaria. Bring in our personal main candidate, and yeah, give another invig buff to arrogance, because why not? And here we go. So now around here we can just wait for all the ultimates to come off cooldown. Really, let me see, am I a bit too big? There you go. So you can now see all ultimates. Now as soon as the clock hits 4 minutes and 29 seconds, that is when you activate Valeriya. So Valeriya needs to be activated at 4 minutes 29 seconds. From here on out we can just activate all our other ultimates. And as soon as Dolores' ultimate is active, you're going to retreat your Laurel, as we've done over here. And then for the moment it's honestly rather simple. So 429 is the first ultimate. Then it's going to be an instant ultimate. So as soon as your Valeriya is ready, you're going to trigger her again. And from here on out, we're just going to trigger all ultimates. Also here, when it comes to the bench characters, just a tip I have, you should wait out for Laurel to be put in, taken out again, and then place in, be it Rev, Lunaria, whoever you have there. Because it then buys them time to stay longer on the field, because if you don't, you just gotta place him in and then take him out pretty much instantly again. So you might recognize the pattern from the last run, but what we're going to do is we're bringing in Laurel, waiting for the Shriek. The Shriek happens. Activate our Hollow. And then before the meteors hit, we wait. As you can see, Valeriya is now full health. We can activate Dolores, we can activate Salazar, we can activate Silas. And it is really important that your Hollow heals your Valeriya to full health, as well as obviously you removing her instantly, right? As soon as you trigger all your ultimates that are around Laurel, you can then take out Laurel again. And then, for example, here, place in Wrath, even though this guy isn't really geared at the moment. Now here it is again very simple, instant ultimate. So as soon as it's again ready, you're going to instantly ultimate. And all those ultimates are going to keep Valeriya at reasonably low HP, so she's able to deal as much damage as possible through using her ultimate. Alright, here again it's just activating your Hollow. Activating... Yeah, honestly we can wait a bit with Dolores again. So here it is the same thing. Infernal Roar. Wait for Valeriya to get healed to full health. Activate Valeriya, activate all ultimates. Take out Wrath. Wait for all ultimates to be active. What do I mean with active? It's that they need to have this orange circle around them, because if they don't, you're not going to be able to overcharge the ultimates, so start at 50% instead of 0%. So yeah, as you can see, Valeriya is nice and low health and still alive. And here again, you might have already guessed it, it is going to be a instant ultimate. So yeah, it is pretty much double instant ultimate, wait for full life, instant, wait for full life, instant. And yeah, so here for the next ultimate, we can just... Again, wait for Laurel to be active. Here what we can do, because of Dolores' timings, is trigger Dolores before we bring in Laurel. Bring in Laurel. And I think you might already be again able to guess the timings. It is actually rather simple when you take a look at it. But we trigger Hollow. We trigger Silas. We wait for the Shriek. We wait for one heal. Second heal. She's full life. Activate, bring in, and then just activate the rest of the ultimates. Alright, here we go, over 50k, and yeah, even a bit more, 55, 55.4, and 55.6. Alright, so that is how you time her properly when it comes to using another unit instead of Volka. So it just adds a bit more complexity, but still keeps it rather simple. And then now onto the last one. Alright, onto the last of the three teams, we have the Elowyn team. So what happened in comparison to the last one, we just took out Hollow, put in Elowyn, and took out Laura and put in Satcham. And yeah, unit wise, could be honestly anyone really, but Satcham just really fits the range but it could also be anyone else that you just place at the top left tile. I mean, you're going to see it, there's going to be an empty space that is still in Dolores' range. So yeah, let's get into the last team, and probably the most complicated timing, even though it basically it feels like your Valeriya is going to die at any point, but she doesn't. So yeah, we're just going to bring in our marksman again, and in this case, given an invigoration buff to Hex, bring in Silas, bring in Dolores, bring in Elowyn. If you're using Sejim, bring him in early, and again, if not, you can just place any other ranged unit on the top tile over here. Now we want to bring in Valeriya outside, so not inside of Elowyn's range, but outside, and then finish it off with boosting Valeriya, and then Arrogance. So again, you're going to notice a couple similarities to the last run, but here it is again, the magical 4 minutes 29 seconds is where you want to activate your Valeriya. You can also at that point activate Silas, bring in Dolores, activate Salazar, and then we can already go to 2x speed just so we can get it done a bit faster. As you can see, she's very, very close to dying, but she isn't actually dying. And here it's also again straightforward. The second ultimate is again going to be used instantly. We can just hit Salazar here. And also you really want to wait with your Dolores until your Valeriya is at around 97%. Just so the last hit of Valeriya is actually going to be in Dolores' ultimate and not outside of it. Here we're just going to activate our ultimates. Alright, this second shield is actually rather simple. We're just going to let our Valeriya get hit. So as you can see, she's going to get hit once. Here by the meteor. And then from the Inferno Roar. And then again another meteor. So at this point you can activate your Dolores. When the meteor is around half full, activate Silas. And now you need to wait for the meteor to impact. The meteor to hit Valeriya. As soon as it does hit Valeriya, that is your cue to activate your ultimate, not before Valeriya is going to die. So through the help of burns and a bit of her self regeneration, we're going to be able to keep her very low and just make the most out of her kit and get the most out of her when it comes to damage. So yeah, rather straightforward, just let her get hit and then activate her ultimate. Alright. So over here we need to wait a bit. So the Inferno Roar impacts. And now is the time to use your Elowyn. We have the Meteorite impact coming in. So again at around half we can activate Dolores. And then at around the M from impact, that is when you want to activate your Elowyn. And then after the meteors hit, that is when you can activate your Valeriya as well as your Silas. So yeah, again, even through the burns and anything else, and especially with the Shriek here, you can see Valeriya is again super low HP, and yeah, we're just making the most out of her kit in general. And she is, as nice as that is, still alive. So here we're just going to wait for Valeriya again. That is a bit close. So yeah, if you can afford it, wait for Valeriya to trigger the ultimate. If not, you might need to trigger Dolores earlier to break that shield. So yeah, here there's no particular timing. You're just going to trigger her as soon as possible. And now it's honestly all about spamming. You really want to spam that button as soon as you get to close to 100%, because it's going to be a real photo finish. Because you want to click activate her ultimate before you hit 18 seconds. So as before it's 18 seconds, even though it doesn't look like I've triggered it, she's already using her animation. So it's the ultimate already triggered. You really want to spam it. So before you see the 18 seconds in red, that's when you need to trigger ultimate. Because if you take a look at this, we're at 3 seconds into the fight. And Valeriya has this small bar for ultimates to the left. And we were barely able to squeeze in that last hit. Obviously, if you instant ult with the second to last ultimate a bit sooner, it's not going to be as close. But yeah, that is timing her with ultimate. As you can see, we were able to ultimate a total of 6 times with her, keeping her super low health all the time. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this guide. Obviously, if you wanna motivate me a bit, feel free to leave a like, leave a comment, and I don't know, make it a where the fuck is my Valeriya full guide hashtag or something. I don't know. Appreciate all of you, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed this rather quick tutorial.